Hey Canucks fans, head coach Bruce Boudreau finished 12th in Jack Adams voting. Do you think that he should have placed a tad higher? I'm Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks Take All in One Take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Saturday, June the 4th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. I have a couple of cool announcements that I'll make at the end of this video, but right away, two things really quickly before I get going. Tomorrow is my Ask Me Anything vlog, so ask me a question, go over to my community tab and ask me a question on my post there, and I'll do my best to get to it in tomorrow's vlog. And secondly, tomorrow night, it's my live stream, but because Parker and I are doing Canucks After Dark at 10 p.m., I will do my live stream, a slightly abbreviated one, starting at 9 p.m. So I hope you join me for both shows tomorrow. Okay, let's talk about Bruce Boudreau. He finished 12th overall in Jack Adams voting for Coach of the Year. Now, when you say 12th overall, considering there's 32 teams, 12th is pretty good. You're basically in the just outside of the top third of NHL coaches. And when you think about it, the Canucks didn't even make the playoffs. So everyone that finished above him made it to the Stanley Cup playoffs. So when you think of it that way, basically every coach that got a vote, he was tied for 12th. So technically there are 14 coaches in there, and 13 of those 14 coaches that he's with that got votes, 13 of them are of playoff teams. So 13 of the 16 playoff teams, their coaches got votes. That's what I was trying to say. And Bruce Boudreau was the only non-playoff team coach to get in there, to get any votes. And that's because he indeed coached the team to a playoff pace. After Travis Green got fired, Travis Green got fired, the Canucks were 8-15-2. That's pretty bad, 8-15-2. After Boudreau took over, the Canucks went 30-15-10. That doesn't sound right. The Canucks actually, let me check that again. No, they went 32-15-10. That makes a lot more sense. That makes up 32-15-10. That is 57 games, yes. So the Canucks went 32-15-10 after Boudreau took over. That is 17 games over 500. That is a playoff pace. So you can see what I'm saying. Is it makes sense that he was the only coach that got votes, the only coach that was outside of the playoff picture that got votes, because he basically coached the Canucks to a playoff pace. We know how he got PD going. You know how JT Miller continued to play strongly under him. Guys like Podkolzin got going as well. Hughes, Besser, to some extent, Demko stayed strong. Really, the only players that didn't do too well under Boudreau were guys like Höglander and Dickinson. But I would certainly take the guys that did play well under Boudreau. New life, new energy in the fan base, all those things. But he only got 5 points. Basically, you get it's a 3-2-1 system, voting system. So he, or is it 3-2-1 or is it 5-3-1? It must be 5-3-1. So you get 5 points if you get a first place vote, you get 3 points if you get a second place vote, and you get 1 point if you get a third place vote. He got 5 points total because he didn't get any first place votes. He got 1 second place vote, so that's worth 3, and then he got 2 third place votes, so that's another 4, then 5. So yes, he got 5 points total, getting 0 first place votes, 1 second place, and 2 third place votes. In my head, when I first heard that he finished tied for 12th, I thought that seemed a little bit low. I thought that he'd do a little bit higher. I didn't think he's going to become a finalist, that's for sure. Because you look at the 3 finalists, it's Daryl Sutter of Calgary, outstanding season, Andrew Brunette of Florida, outstanding season, and Gerard Gallant of the Rangers, outstanding season. Then Boudreau, way down at 12th, was actually tied just behind Sheldon Keefe of Toronto, and look how good their season was. He was tied with Jay Woodcroft of Edmonton, and look how good their season was. And he was ahead of Craig Berube of St. Louis, who also had a really good season. So you can't argue about the players, the coaches that he's listed with, Keefe, Woodcroft, and Berube. Those are all really good coaches, as Bruce Boudreau is a really good coach. But obviously, I think if the Canucks had made it in the playoffs, or were even a tiny bit closer than the 4 or 5 points out they were, then I think maybe Boudreau rises to maybe somewhere between 6th and 10th in voting, as opposed to tied for 12th. And if the Canucks had made the playoffs, who knows? Maybe he's a top 5 vote getter. But that's neither here nor there. Now that we know that the Canucks finished out of the playoff race, but I would say when I hear 12th, even though I see the names ahead of him, I said the 3 finalists, then Evison, Bednar, McClellan, Brindamore, Sullivan, Hines, Cooper. Those are all really good coaches. But I thought that he might have finished maybe a tad higher, 9th or 10th, no higher than 9th. So tied for 12th, isn't a huge surprise. And of course, if he had done better, if the Canucks had made the playoffs, then I think you're looking at a top 5 showing for Bruce Boudreau. And some of you might even say he would be a finalist. Maybe not win the whole thing, but maybe finish in the top 3. So Canucks fans, let me know. Were you surprised when you heard that Boudreau finished 12th? Do you think that's about right? Do you think that was actually lower than you thought, like me? Or do you think that was actually higher than you thought, considering that 3 playoff coaches didn't even get a single vote? So let me know about that. One other thing I want to talk about real quick. There's been some chatter on Twitter because on the 32 Thoughts podcast, Jeff Merrick and Elliot Friedman were talking about this prospect named Juraj Slafkovsky. I'm sure I butchered his name like I butcher every prospect's name, but yeah, Juraj Slafkovsky. He's 18 years old. He's a Slovak forward, a winger mostly, but been playing in Finland. And the reason why this has gotten some play recently is there was talk on the podcast. They were talking to him, Slafkovsky, and they said that at the combine, he said that a couple teams have talked to him about, would you be willing to play center? And like I said, he's traditionally a winger, and he says yes, he can play center, and because he's played there before. And he mentioned by name 2 teams that actually asked about him were the New Jersey Devils and the Vancouver Canucks. That's interesting because New Jersey is picking 2nd overall after Montreal, and you think that Slafkovsky could very well be a player that they could take. Top 5 I usually see Wright, Slafkovsky, Cooley, and then I see the 2 right-handed defensemen from Europe that I can't pronounce their names. So those are the top 5 that I've been seeing a lot. So that makes sense that New Jersey's asking these type of questions. But why would Vancouver be asking about those type of questions? And I know Lego Rocks did a really good vlog detailing that situation today. I don't put too much stock into the fact that Vancouver's name came out in this, in this tweet, or in this podcast, I should say, that the guy tweeted about, because it would behoove the Canucks to ask these type of questions. It would make sense. If they're at the combine, they're seeing all these top prospects and interviewing all these guys. You don't not interview some guys that you don't think you're going to get, because you never know. You might trade up to get them, whether that involves a package, including JT Miller. You might package that pick might fall down to you somehow. You might not get all the way up to number 2, but maybe you're thinking about moving up to number 4, number 5, or number 6, and you're thinking that this player might still be there. There's so many permutations, combinations. Simply, the Canucks are doing their due diligence. So I don't put too much stock in this. I think it's interesting. I think it's a good, get your mind going a little bit, your gears turning, or whatever you want to say. But I think it's less about such a surprise. Oh, the Canucks are going to trade Miller for sure for number 2 draft pick from New Jersey. Rather, the Canucks are doing their due diligence. They are doing their preparation, and they're preparing for all scenarios. And you think that Jim Rutherford and Al Veen are those type of people. You'd like to think Jim Benning was even that type of person too. So covering all bases, due diligence, doing their research, whatever phrase you want to use, I think that's what's happening here. But we'll certainly keep an eye on this story as we get closer to the June 7-8 draft in Montreal. Okay, 2 other things I want to talk about real quick before I wrap up. Number 1, if you're on Instagram, you may have seen, and I actually tweeted it out too, you may have seen my post. I'm rebranding my Instagram. It used to be my name, Clayton Nemo. Now it's Fun Faithful Fam, and I'm looking at the lighter side of family, marriage, parenting, and relationships. And the majority of my content on Instagram was already family related, so I'm going to keep it that way. So any of you that are following me on Instagram, I love for you to stay there, but be warned that there won't be a lot of Canucks coverage on there. That's what YouTube and that's what Twitter is for. Finally, for those of you that are members, I mentioned on Wednesday night on a members only live stream my new membership tiers. I'll make a video about that in the upcoming week, because these new tiers come into effect on July the 1st. So whether you're all-star, franchise, Hall of Fame, or legend, I have some news that will affect you. I want to say in a good way, but I'm kind of streamlining my membership tiers and the perks. It's weird. I'm contracting the tiers, but I'm increasing the amount of perks. So look for that video later next week or sometime next week. All right, Canucks fans, thanks for sticking with me. So leave in the comments below 2 things. Number 1, are you surprised at all where Boudreau finished in Jack Adams voting at number 12? And number 2, do you put any stock into this report of the Canucks asking Juraj Slafkovsky if he can play center? Or is it a matter of them, like I said, I probably said this like 8 times in this video, doing their due diligence? Leave me a comment below. I love to read, react, reply as always. Shout out to my sponsors, Perform and Transform, personal training and weight loss. Sign up now for a free 7-day trial using the link in my video descriptions. And to Advanced City Experts Real Estate Group, contact Jason Lim and his team for all of real estate needs. Hall of Fame members, Jens95, Sim Alexander, Chris Seifert, Adam Broomfield, Shannon Hollingworth, HSM Fangirl Gaming, Smooth Groove, and Carol Bovenlander. Thank you for your support as always. And to, of course, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Justin Credible, and legendary Andrew Chang. I appreciate your support as well as I appreciate the support of all members of all levels. You're listed in my video descriptions. If you want to become a member of the CCC Crew, press the join button underneath this or my videos or the memberships tab on my YouTube channel. Subscribe if you'd like to. Like this video if you'd like to. Leave a tip, a super thanks if you'd like to. Become a member or upgrade if you'd like to. And definitely leave a comment down below if you'd like to. If you made it this far, 11 minutes into this video, let's leave for the word today. It's Saturday, it's June, I'm going to a wedding later, it's NHL playoffs. Let's say weekend. I know, kind of boring. I should think these things out. But it's the weekend. I'm gonna have a really relaxing weekend. I hope you are as well. So type in the word weekend, all caps, do whatever you want in the comments, and then I know you made it to the end of this video. Okay, friends, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves and take care of each other, and go to my community tab, leave me a question from my Ask Me Anything. God bless, and go Canucks go.